Welcome to Withdraw Consent. My name is Victor. This is Jack. So welcome to our, 10 or 15th Israel week or Jewish week. We seem to do them a lot these days. This week is going to be more Israel and about its people. More, that's what the focus is. And so, take it away, Jack.
Okay, so today we want to talk about what is the one-state solution and what is the two-state solution.
Okay.
So one-state solution, they all live in one country, and they all...
Who is they?
Okay, we're talking about Israel. So we're talking about Israel. We're talking about Arabs and the Hebrews.
Okay.
Because I'm going to ethnicity here. So they would all be Israelis.
Because they live in that state.
Yeah, some would be Jews, Christians, or Muslims. Doesn't matter. Could be a Hebrew Christian,
Whatever, right.
Whatever. Nobody cares. Because it's not a religious thing.
Right.
And then, so currently, Israel is a Jewish state, which now we just flip to religion. So it has a state religion. So it would probably lose that under a one-state solution, but it also wouldn't become an Islamic state, and it would be more. It would have to be more freedom of religion.
Okay.
Right.
If it was a true one state.
True one state, and it would have to be equal rights. So that's one-state solution. Two-state solution is they basically say we go pre-1967 lines before the Six-Day War, and there's a country that's discontiguous, and that is Gaza Strip, and then currently the West Bank.
Okay.
And that would be one country, but separated. I'll put the map up on the screen.
Yeah.
And you can see on this map that there's distances to the cities, and they're pointing out that they would be in danger.
The Israelis or the Palestinians?
No, the Israelis would be in danger because they would be this close. 11 miles here, 22 miles here. Okay. That's basically what they're trying to say. So I just described basically the two different parts. Now, what do you think about these?
Well, I kind of mentioned this to you right before we started, that you wouldn't have to worry about how close you were to your neighbors if you didn't piss everyone off and make them hate you. Like, nobody up in Idaho or something is worried about Canada attacking them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we're just doing our own thing. And
I agree.
And then, are we talking about whether two-state is even a goal?
Yeah, which one's feasible, I'm saying?
Well, based on the understanding that I've kind of built up of the Jewish people over the last year and how they view everyone else, there's no way that two-state is good enough for them because they are better than everyone else. So why would we give inferior people our land?
Okay, but what if they did a two-state solution in a good faith, and then there was a non-Mossad-related attack similar to October 7th, and they had to go in and say, we tried, we're the good guys, we gave you this, now you've got to leave our homeland. Because now it's two countries. See, right now, it's an intra-country conflict.
Right.
And that's a problem because you're just mistreating people who live in your borders. Now, if it's somebody else's borders, it's totally different. It's war. This is not war.
But it still ends up being the same thing, that one state is their only solution from an Israeli perspective.
One state without the Palestinians in it.
Right.
Okay, so you had mentioned the borders part, and don't be terrible people. But also, I just want to point out to everybody in the entire world that every one of your borders that's not on the ocean borders another country. Everybody has borders that are 1 inch apart.
Right.
So you still have a border with Egypt, and you're like, but that city right next to Gaza, it's right next to Egypt too. And there's been problems in the past by Israel preemptively striking Egypt. So the Egyptian city on the other side should be the one worried.
Right, totally.
Not the Israeli one. So I think that distances thing is nonsense.
Yeah, who's usually the aggressor?
Right. Well, you could say the rocket attacks.
Okay, but is that in response to how they're being treated and their oppression and all that?
But how they're being treated is in response to the rocket attacks. It's a never-ending cycle. Okay, so I watch Hamza. I talk about him. Okay. Hamza. Okay, he does the Omegles. Remember? The Omegle chats with people.
Yeah, right. The Palestinian guy.
Yeah, the Palestinian guy. He lives in the U.S., and he talks to people in Israel. And he's got this great line, right? And he says, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, which is what they chant at the marches. And he says, all I want by that, that's all I mean by that, is I want equal rights for Palestinians in Israel. Okay. Sounds good, right? I got you on board, right? But he's going to trick you because he's going to say, okay, so look, it's a one-state solution, easy. We all get equal rights. Everybody gets a vote. And we get the right of return for all Palestinians who've left.
Oh.
So many more Palestinians.
Right.
Because we talked about in a previous episode the fertility rate of the Jews, of the Hebrews, sorry, we're talking about ethnicity now, of the Hebrew people, the bloodline is very poor.
They've never been able to grow their numbers in decades.
Right. So before World War II, they had the exact same number. That after they had lost 6 million, they had the exact same number. And today they have the exact same number. It's roughly 17 million. Right. And so they would lose the demographic war.
Totally.
But when you're listening to Hamza say it, it's like, I mean, equal rights is cool. Yeah, you should be able to return to your land.
Who's going to argue that?
And he never says any more than that. He never tells you the rest of it, you know?
Right.
And they've also been treated very poorly. There's some angry Palestinians in the world who go to sleep with fantasies in their head of doing terrible things. I'm just going to guess. There's also some wonderful Muslim ones.
Sure.
Right? So the way I see it is Israel will never say yes to a one-state solution under these conditions. Because even if you don't add the right of return in there, we already covered this in a video.
They'll never say yes to a two-state.
No, we're talking about one state.
Oh, okay.
Just one state for now. They'll never say yes to this because even if the right of return is not included,
I see what you're saying.
Because later on, then there'll be these big marches of Israeli citizens, but who are Palestinian ethnicity, and eventually it'll give way, and they'll get the right of return. Now, we covered in our Al-Nakba video that, remember I discovered that in 1948, during the Arab-Israeli war, or their war of independence, that at the end of 1948, the war would end in 1949, that the UN made a resolution saying that as of that day, after the conflict goes, all Palestinians have the right to return. So currently they have the right to return.
Okay.
They just can't physically cross the barrier because Israel's preventing them, or Egypt's preventing them because the U.S. pays the bills in Egypt, and that way they do whatever we want.
Gotcha.
Because Israel's our daddy, and so then we become the daddy of Egypt to support our...
Right.
So I'm just saying I think one-state solution's out. Because they understand demographics. Nobody you ever meet when you walk outside your home understands what demographics means. Not one person at Walmart, not one person driving down the road. Israelis, we're talking about the nationality here, citizens of Israel, they understand demographics. And they understand that it's scary. There's Arabs everywhere. Right. Every country around is just packed with Arabs. Okay. And then, of course, they treat people horribly, and then all these people hate them. So then we got two-state solution.
Okay.
Right? And we kind of already talked about that a little bit, but like, if they give them the state, it gives them options of what they can do to take that land back, different than they have now.
Like just carpet bomb the whole thing and then move in?
Ultimately,
they don't want the people there at all.
Right. It would have to be a provocation.
Right.
And I saw this video. I don't really do Gab social too much, you know. But when I do, it's Gab, you know. And yeah, I seen this Jewish lady on there, and she's wearing like her big floppy hat, you know. Okay. And she's just, nope, an Israeli woman. Okay. I don't know if she's Jewish or not. She's an Israeli citizen who's not Arab, and they're interviewing her, and she's just talking like, yeah, my husband, he works for Yavicha, whatever their religious schools are over there. And they're already talking about like, in Gaza they're going to put a new branch there, and we want to buy a building. We want to have a building built by the sea, and then we can set up this really fantastic business. She's like, yeah, they got 500 families that I know of that are ready to go right now. Oh. They're talking about everybody's gone at that point. Right. Everybody's gone. And I don't know how they're going to go because Egypt's not letting a ton through their border. We're trying to flee. I don't know if there's going to be anybody left. Yeah. Because they've now got them all down to the bottom. Was it Rafah? No, it's Rafah. Rafah's the crossing. I think it's Ramallah down there. I'm not sure. They got them all down to southern Gaza. All the people, 2 million people packed in. And they're like, we're going to do our final push. Hamas is in there. Well, Hamas has been everywhere you went. That was your reason for going there. Now this is the last place. All the hostages are there. You know? I don't know if there's anybody left. Anyways. Yeah, so it just doesn't seem, though, that there's much. Well, I don't think they would go for a two-state solution either, is what I'm saying.
Right. They want one state with just them in it. That's ultimately what they're going to go for. Right.
Yeah, and they don't want... Because the Palestinian people are a problem. Totally. They're just total problem because they've treated them so bad for so long. Right. How do you ever recover?
But they don't want to recover.
They don't want to recover, but if they were smart, they would want peace.
No.
Well, once the land's theirs, they want peace.
But from their perspective, it's a stupid thing to have peace with people who are in our land. You know what I'm saying? In their mind, these are trespassers. It seems like.
You know, okay. When you mistreat a race of people terribly, but not as bad as an Israeli would, you can live by them in peace. Because we've got reservations nowadays. There ain't no fences around those reservations. Or white folk, all the folk treated them like trash.
Yeah.
Treated them like trash, right? But not bad enough, apparently. Because they're not as bad as Israel would.
Okay.
Because they're not doing forays out of reservations to blow people up.
That's true.
So there is a scenario where you can live with people.
Amicably, yeah.
Amicably. But you just can't do it after slaughtering them for generations and generations.
You also have to have the desire to want to live amicably with another people.
So there will be zero state solutions.
Yeah, seems like.
Until there's no more Palestinians left in the land.
And then it's just Israeli land. Yeah. In my mind.
Yeah. I don't see a way where they're just not going to. I think it's interesting to talk about.
Totally.
I think Hamza's idea is wild because you could sell it.
Right.
And then the Arabs would know what that means. You find a lot of like Jordanians who are all of a sudden Palestinian because they know it's demographics.
Yep.
And they, okay. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think of this? Hopefully you enjoy the Israel Weeks. We love making these. Wednesday is going to be we're going to talk about where the power is in the relationship between Israel and the United States. And Thursday, it's going to be more about the religions of Judaism and Christianity and that dynamic. Hopefully you'll catch those and learn something. We'll see you then.